Welcome to the channel. Please subscribe if you like stories about the ancient world. Look at this landscape. It presents a stark binary choice: the barren, waterless death of the desert, or the life-giving, but dangerous, abundance of the ocean. For most species, this is an impossible edge. But for the Chinchorro, this was home. They didn't just survive on this ecological frontier. They mastered it. Their genius is written not in grand monuments, but in the very placement of their homes. Today, we leave the museum cases behind and travel to the real-world locations, to the windswept camps and river valleys where the Chinchorro lived, died, and pioneered their unique vision of eternity. We are going to map the geography of a civilization. The Chinchorro were not nomads wandering aimlessly along the coast. They were strategic settlers, and their settlement pattern reveals a deep, sophisticated understanding of their environment. They established their bases at the most critical points, the river mouths or quebradas, where seasonal streams cut through the desert to reach the sea, the trinity of resources. Why these spots? Because they offered a perfect convergence of three essential resources: fresh water, the most precious commodity in the desert. Even a seasonal river provided vital drinking water and created microhabitats. Marine protein. The rocky shores and ocean at their doorstep were their supermarket, teeming with fish, shellfish, and sea lions. Raw materials. The river valleys provided driftwood for fuel and tools, reeds for building huts and baskets, and stones for their lithic industry. Sites like the Camarones Valley are quintessential examples. Here, the Chinchorro set up semi-permanent camps. The settlement wasn't a village in the traditional sense with streets and houses. It was a seasonal aggregation of people, a base camp from which they exploited the rich resources of the coastline. The location was so perfect that it was used for millennia, with layer upon layer of shell middens building up like a historical archive of their daily meals. So, what did a Chinchorro settlement actually look like? Thanks to meticulous archaeology, we can reconstruct a vivid picture. Forget grand architecture. Think practical, resilient, and integrated with the land. The architecture of survival. Their dwellings were often semi-subterranean. They would dig shallow, circular pits and build simple structures over them, using whale bones, wood, and reeds, with roofs likely made of sea lion skins. This design was brilliant. It provided insulation from the scorching daytime heat and the freezing nighttime cold of the desert, and it offered protection from the relentless coastal winds. Reading the garbage, the story of the middens. The most telling features of any Chinchorro site are the middens, the vast mounds of discarded shells, fish bones, and animal remains. To an untrained eye, it's trash. To an archaeologist, it's a library. By analyzing these middens, we can determine their diet, their hunting seasons, and even changes in the marine environment over thousands of years. The sheer size of these mounds is a testament to their success and the longevity of their occupation. The space between the huts and the middens was a landscape of daily activity. Here, someone was knapping a stone tool. There, a group was weaving a net. Nearby, others were mending a harpoon point. It was a community organized around the rhythm of the tides and the migration of the sea lions. Camarones is a famous site, but it was just one node in the vast network that stretched over 600 kilometers of coastline, from Ilo in Peru to Antofagasta in Chile. The Chinchorro world was a string of coastal camps, connected by the sea. A unified culture. What's remarkable is the cultural uniformity across this vast distance. A fishing hook found in Peru is virtually identical to one found in Chile. The mummification techniques, while evolving over time, follow the same basic principles everywhere. This suggests a highly mobile population that maintains strong social and cultural connections along the coast, likely through maritime travel in their reed boats. They were not isolated tribes. They were a cohesive cultural sphere. Sites of the dead and the living. Importantly, their settlements were not segregated into cities of the living and cities of the dead. The dead were often buried in simple graves within the settlement, under the floors of huts or in nearby areas. This physical proximity underscores their belief in the ongoing presence of the ancestors. The line between the world of the living and the world of the dead was thin and permeable. The entire settlement, the huts, the middens, the graves, was a single integrated landscape of existence. The settlements of the Chinchorro teach us a profound lesson about human ingenuity. They prove that a civilization doesn't need to conquer a landscape to be successful. It needs to understand it, to listen to it, and to find its perfect, sustainable place within it. Their legacy is not made of stone and mortar, but of a deep, symbiotic relationship with a specific environment. When we stand in the Camarones Valley today, we are standing on a palimpsest of human history, where every shell fragment, every darkened patch of earth from an ancient hearth, tells a story of resilience, community, and a unique cultural spirit. The wind that blows through these ruins is the same wind that cooled their skin. The ocean that crashes on this shore is the same ocean that fed them for generations. The Chinchorro are gone, but the niche they so perfectly occupied remains. A silent testament to a people who looked at the edge of the world and called it home. What does the location of our own cities say about our values and our relationship with the environment? The Chinchorro's story invites us to reflect. Share your thoughts in the comments. If you want to join us as we continue to map the forgotten corners of human history, please support our channel by liking, subscribing, and ringing the bell for the next discovery.